Good evening and welcome to Friday Recap. And did you know? That's how we're going to start off. The first thing we want you to know, did you know about Nepal?
Mm.
Nepal currently has 547 people confirmed dead, over 1,300 still missing. When a glacier collapsed, sending a wall of ice, mud, and rocks into an Himalayan river. I mean, it was triggering catastrophic flooding into the Nepal border regions,
Mm.
sweeping away entire communities. Did you know the water levels along the river rose to 27 feet over a half an hour?
Mm.
They're still looking for survivors at this time. We are giving those families our condolences. Over to you, Miss M.
Yeah, it's devastating and it's sad. And I heard I cannot remember the exact region, but I also heard that there was such instability on in some of the areas that they actually had to stop the recovery process because it was so dangerous they couldn't go in, which of course is probably going to elevate the death toll even more. I just think that that's just awful. It's so sad.
It really is. You're up, Miss M. What do you got for us? Gary?
Well, Gary, Indiana finally has their power back after 2 very long weeks, 2 unnecessary weeks. There should have been a faster response to this. And my biggest question as to why it took so long to get the power restored in Gary, because they were still feeding power to those data centers. So, where
Hmm.
are the priorities? Are the priorities the community, the people, or these big old data centers that are collecting all of our information?
Let's go ahead and answer that question. We know it's for the data centers, and that is a shame. But continue.
Yeah, I'm very very happy that the power has been restored, but there are still there are at least over 100,000 people throughout the United States right now without power, not necessarily due to severe weather or anything like that going on. So you have to wonder the high cost of utilities. What are we paying for? Why is the infrastructure not more steady? Why is it that if a cold wind blows, you could lose your power? I I don't understand because the costs keep going up and up and up and up, but the service seems to be diminishing.
Well, let's go to our viewers because we always give them their voice at our voice. So, who's up first?
Uh, Mr. Jamie, it was clearly deliberate. I think so. I honestly believe that because if you could get power to the data centers, I don't understand how you couldn't restore power to the people.
Makes sense. Who's next?
Uh, Miss Barbara says Gary residents are afforded money for pain and suffering and lost food and medication. Well, let's hope it's enough. And I wonder how many people lost their lives because they're dependent on electricity for medical monitoring machines and keeping certain medications refrigerated. Like there are some things that you can't be compensated for.
And that's what we're not hearing about the death toll. What is Momo D saying?
My little hubby Mike, I remember when the world would stop and humanity would show up from around the world and help, especially the US. Can't wait for when we vote our humanity back in our nation. Yes, because that was another, we passed the Nepal story, but you know what I didn't notice, and maybe I didn't delve deeply enough into it. Was there a Red Cross presence? Was there any sort of aid, global aid that went to helping these people out? Do we know that?
No, we haven't heard anything from the US providing. They didn't even talk about it. They only said what happened. Democracy News absolutely provides that information, but
Mhm.
no, they're not giving any funding or anything of that. Because usually by now we would have set up, hey, please, support the Red Cross, please
Right.
support this individual or
Mhm.
that individual. Nothing. So
And
we are definitely falling down on the job.
yeah. And Jamie says they didn't maintain the trees over the lines. And Miss Jazzy Renee, they'll give power and water to data centers before people, and that's what we're finding out. Yes, Lizzie, that was my worry. People on oxygen, people that have machines that are keeping them alive, medications that need to be kept at certain temperatures, things like that.
Well, this story is not going to go away. We're going to keep on
No,
top of it. We will dig deep to try to find out how many lives was lost. And also, were the data centers the priority or people? We know the answer, but sometimes you have to call them out on their crap.
right, right.
Anyone else?
I think that's about it. Um, the hospitals were on generators and filling O2 tanks, but damn, yeah, I have 3 meds that require refrigeration. Yeah, see,
See,
like, what do you do? What do you do when you don't have power? And what if you don't have somewhere that you can take that? What if you don't have a relative's house you can go to store your medication and stuff like that? It's just very
it's heartbreaking.
frustrating. It is. It's
It is.
heartbreaking and it's frustrating.
But you know what? Get out there and vote. We have the power to change the BS.
Yep.
Please get out
Yes.
there, do the right thing. Our next story up is, and you might say, who is this man? This is our Norway king, and his name is Harald the Fifth. He died today at the age of 80. He served for 35 years, ending a reign of 3.5 decades. He reigned from 1937 to 2000 to 2026. Also, his successor is his son, King Hakan. Hakan. And there are no coronations that will be in place due to the constitution of their government. So, at this time, the son is already taken over, but we say thank you. And the reason why I bring this up, because the immigrants there loved their king. They said he was all about the immigrants and they loved them. They treated them as if he was a grandfather. So if you guys don't know that story, please look into it. This is what you want people to say about you when you're gone and not calling you a bastard. And we hope that you just continue to go downhill. But we must say, thank you, King Harad, number 5. All right. Over
Thank
to
you.
you. Any comments on that out there?
Just Norway is actually one of those countries that I've always wanted to visit, and I didn't know much about the monarchy there. So this news the news about him is new to me, but it goes back to when our fearless leader said, "Oh, bring in all the immigrants from we need immigrants from places like Norway. Why would you want to leave Norway and come here?"
Hmm. Yeah, why would you? You got a good point there. Wait a minute, I just thought about that. You got a solid point. I am curious to hear what our viewers have to say. Weigh in, guys. I love your comments. I know we have a comment from previously before. So what do we have, Mo?
Well, Jamie said, "What the F? All the wrong 80-year-olds are dying."
Yes. Good point. I'm proud of you, Jamie. Good
And
point.
Mike said, "Well, we can't get aid here, so no, we are not providing aid. Thank you, Elon." And he gives Elon the middle finger. Okay, honey.
All right. Hey, he say what he mean. He's mean what he say.
Yes, he
Another Friday recap that we have to give. Did you know, and I'm pretty sure you do, about food recall? What say
does.
you, Mama?
Well, we're going to listen to this young man rattle off a lot of the recalls, and it's still only a fraction of them, because what's been added now is not only the food recalls, but now we're having medical recalls. We've had the eye drops that were contaminated. Now we have saline solution that is contaminated. So we can't
Hold
eat
that
now.
thought.
Okay.
Hold that thought. We'll talk about it on the other side of this madness. Oh my
All
God.
right.
I guaranteed you're going to want to save this because this is the full list of recalls for 2026. Frozen berries, iceberg lettuce, shell eggs, mixed berries, pistachio nut butter, green powder supplements, jalapenos, soup kits, and salad dressings, granola, dog food, jalapeno peppers, salmon products, cream cheese and tofu spreads, chicken dog treats, yellowfin tuna, organic cheese seeds, green superfood supplements, tamales, shrimp paste, chocolate bars, sea moss gel superfood, cheese product, infinite formula, potato chips, pork rind and seasoned products, snack mixes, sour cream and onion cheese curls, flavored popcorn seasoning, coleslaw products, pita chips, chocolate bars, white cheddar seasoning, peeled garlic. At this point, it ain't shit safe to eat. I feel like everything that I didn't name at one time or another I didn't purchase, but not anymore. But inquiring minds want to know, what's safe to eat? When you find out, let me know. Count me out.
I hear
Wow.
you, brother. I hear you. Count us out as well. We
Mm.
we want no parts of that. But Miss Mo, as you were saying,
Yeah, now we're not only food, which I'll give you guys a entree of pancakes. I'm sorry, I just noticed Andrea said pancakes. That's her solution for everything is pancakes. But anyway, we have the medical recalls now, the saline solution in hospitals. So now you have to worry about what you eat because it's going to make you sick. And if you get sick, now you got to worry about going to the hospital. And if you're dehydrated from diarrhea and all the other stuff that can happen with food poisoning, and they would give you saline solution to rehydrate you, now you got to worry about the saline solution that's going into your veins, whether it's contaminated or not. So there's one place, and I think we're going to get into this a little bit later, where you get safe beef. You can still get safe beef at Costco. If I were you, I'd stay away from beef in other places, but you can get safe beef at Costco.
and why you say Costco?
Because that was an article that I read.
Okay.
Costco does not deal with any of the Texas beef handlers that had the screw worm. And of course, the Argentina beef hasn't gotten here yet. So that's a whole nother story there. But to try to stay as safe as you possibly can, and without visiting necessarily a government website, there are a couple of the FDA has a daily output, like a newsletter that you can sign up for, and they will send you daily updates on all the recalls. They give you the manufacturers, numbers, all of the stuff that you can do your best to stay as safe as you possibly can. Now, the one positive thing with the eggs, until the salmonella thing is over with the eggs, you can still eat eggs, but the yolks have to be cooked fully. So you either scramble your eggs or you do hard-boiled eggs. Just don't let any of the yolk be runny, and you should be okay with your eggs. That's one positive thing there. But until we get regulations back in place, you just have to be diligent about what you put in your body. And also note that a lot of these things that we're talking about, if you've read Project 2025, it's all in here. The destabilization of our country is intentional, folks. All that is happening right now is done with intent. So we as the people have to rise up, get all these people out of here, and retake our country.
So let's hear from our viewers. Great point. Let's hear what our viewers are saying on the contamination. Barbara.
Thankfully, the popcorn is a label issue and not a contamination issue, according to the article I saw, but it still boils down to the fleecing of these agencies that provided quality assurance for us. Yes. And as Jamie said earlier, there's a jasmine rice recall now as well. And I believe it's organic rice. I'm not sure. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Jamie, but I believe it was organic jasmine rice that's
On the recall?
Yes.
Mm,
Yes. Yeah.
okay. All right. Who else have something to say? We talked about Andrea's pancakes, so you guys vote for her pancakes. Anybody else?
Let's see. Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, we do too. We wish it was a different 80-year-old. Oh, look, Jamie's providing the page that it was on.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Jamie.
Page 138. Thank you. Somebody else who read that thing. When Kamala Harris put that thing up in the air and that woman's voice raised an octave and said, "Did you read this?" I immediately went and read it because it's all in there. It's all in there.
So Jamie has a point here. What are you saying, Jamie?
So you go into debt to get health care just to risk being killed by saline. Yes. Yes. And what Jamie also said at one point, he had an anxiety attack going grocery shopping. That's crazy. I found a local farm that has all their own water and are inspected. They have produce and meat. Yeah, that's another good suggestion, Jamie. If you have local farmers in the area, farmers markets are a good place. We here in California have a lot of state regulations as well as federal regulations. So if you go to a farmer's market or a farm stand or buy directly from a farmer here in California, you can feel pretty assured that what you're eating is safe.
Yes, and Andrea is saying powdered milk and egg substitute, as long as you cook it well, it should be good. Absolutely. Anybody else? Hey, Miss Jazzy Renee, you commenting?
I saw Jazzy on here earlier.
Maybe something happened with her with the weather.
Maybe. I think she commented on the Nepal story.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's go ahead and switch gears over to our voting. What took place today, Miss Sam?
Well, we had the March on Washington, which is to safeguard our voting rights because there's so many attacks being made on our voting rights now. And it's actually called Defend the Vote. I wish the turnout didn't look like it was as spectacular as I would think that it would be. These people are speaking out against the mail-in voting situation that he's trying to get involved in and trying to corrupt that system of voting early and voting by mail and absentee voting. They are trying everything that they possibly can to rig the election, basically to suppress our vote, suppress our voices, because they have nothing good that they're running on. They know they can't win. The only way they can win is if they cheat. And so this was a huge rally today, and it's coincides with the anniversary of the 1963 March on Washington that was headed up by Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement back in the day. And you know what's really sad is that 60 something years later, we're still marching for our right to vote. It seems crazy.
Yeah, let's just really stop and think about that. We're still voting. We're still marching. Come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they really want to take it away. But there's
Mm-hmm.
something else at play right now.
Yeah.
This race.
Yes.
Will be a self-proclaimed socialist that proudly signed up and joined the Democratic Socialists of America. Angie Nixon, who will be my opponent in November, and her comrades want to destroy this country and everything that it is built on.
Some strong words there. How do you respond?
You know, when people's voice start getting squeaky and really high pitched, usually they're lying. And Ashley Moody knows that I'm not a socialist. I joined the DSA because I believe in them in regards to fighting for adequate public housing, as well as fighting for quality health care, as well as making sure that we are getting our veterans off the street, taking big money out of politics, right? The Democratic Party is a big tent. It is a big tent, and it's an everybody party. We have folks on the left, on the right, to the middle of the party, and I'm super excited to be on a ticket with someone like David Jolly, with someone like JJR, because we bring different things, and that's what folks, but at the end of the day, what folks want, as I stated earlier, is they are tired of the status quo. Ashley Moody is someone who decided to use $10 million that was supposed to be directed at the most medically needy kids in our state. She allowed that to be diverted to defeat 2 citizen-led ballot initiatives, which would have helped improve our health for Floridians here in the state. She also decided to increase, she voted against the ACA subsidies, which basically knocked off over 300,000 people off the ACA rolls. So our private insurance went up, as well as those folks who lost their insurance. She doesn't care about anyone but looking out for her billionaire friends.
Let me ask you, because you did join the DSA, and I think people and voters have questions about where you stand as it relates to the DSA platform. So let's go through a few of the issues that they stand for. The DSA calls for abolishing the Senate, the office that you are running for. Do you support abolishing the Senate?
No, I don't. No, I don't support that.
Not at all. Okay. Well, let's go through a couple more. The DSA platform also calls for defunding the Pentagon and lifting sanctions on Iran. Do you support defunding the Pentagon or lifting sanctions on Iran?
I think we need to make sure that we are looking at the Department of Defense budget with a fine-tooth comb. They are the only agency or department that has failed an audit. And so I want to make sure that we're spending our money wisely. Right now, we are in a very expensive war in Iran, which has caused some of our military men and women to lose their lives. And it has also caused Jared Kushner, the son-in-law of Donald Trump, to get richer, and many of their campaign donors who are defense contractors to get richer. People are frustrated at that.
But would you go so far as actually supporting defunding the military?
Oh my gosh.
I think
I'm going to stop it right there.
Yeah,
Enough
I'm sorry.
already.
Enough.
Okay.
Enough.
Go ahead.
First of all, her opponent, if you notice the language that she used, right?
Mm-hmm.
Comrades, her comrades, that evokes communism and the Red Scare.
Mm-hmm.
Which is absolute and people confuse communism and socialism all the time.
All the time.
All the time. And as far as like that questioning there, and that's going to get into an even deeper subject that we're covering, but the questioning there, navigating, shaping the narrative. No one thinks that the Pentagon should be defunded. We need a defense. We need a military. So right there, that's disingenuous.
It was also just disingenuous for the Senate. She's running for Senate. So why would she want it to be defunded?
Yeah.
Or
why would she want the
away?
Senate eliminated?
Eliminated. Okay. So those questions. But wait a minute. They're not finished yet. Let's go over to this side of the avenue.
Oh.
House recently said he doesn't support Medicare for all. He's not on that bill anymore. He used to be. Is he wrong?
Right.
Why is the leadership? Do Democrats have the right leaders here in Washington?
He is absolutely wrong. How can you all of a sudden change the tune? And I'll tell you how you change the tune. When your corporate donors
So should he
decide
not be
to
speaker?
give you more money so that you won't, you know, that is up to the Congress people. I'm running for U.S. Senate.
Well, what about Chuck Schumer? Should he be the majority leader if Democrats take back the Senate?
You know, I think I would possibly be looking elsewhere when I become the next United States Senator in regards to leadership. And I mean, we need to make sure that we have people who are centered on people, who are working for people, right? And so again,
do you think
the
Schumer is going to
majority of
support
people
your
are
campaign? Do you expect Democrats in Washington to send money to help you win?
I actually have Democrats in Washington already sending me money and already
The
agreeing to
DSCC,
campaign
have they
donations. I wanna
committed
be clear,
to go on the
because-
air for you in a big way?
Who did you say? The DSCC?
The DSCC.
No, I haven't heard from. No, they're. Yeah, no, actually, our campaign is supposed to have a conversation with them sometime this week. But I want to be clear because a lot of people, this is my introduction to them. I am someone who is a former vice chair of a Democratic executive committee in Duval County. I also worked for the state party, the Florida Democratic Party, as a political director and a field director. I'm also a union organizer. I'm also someone who is not ashamed or afraid to vote against my caucus if it's not in the benefit, if it's not benefiting hardworking everyday people. I'm also okay with voting against Republicans. It's not about that. It's about the people for me.
Hakeem,
she would not let her. You talk.
That was such a bad look for Casey Hunt.
Yes,
that was such a bad look for her. She wouldn't even let her finish a sentence.
Very disrespectful. Very disrespectful.
Yes, and people go to these outlets for their information, and this is why we have such an uninformed public, because she wouldn't even
our viewers.
Yeah, she wouldn't even
let her speak. Let's hear what our viewers have to say. Barbara,
why can't they haul these crooks into jail? I wish they could. They have evidence of all their grifting, stealing, and shady deals. Yes,
every last one of them.
Let's go
over to Momo D. Mike.
What's really sad is he is marching for what his father has already gave his life for. And he's talking about the march on Washington. Yes. Martin Luther King Jr. His son was there. Barbara, too many are getting rich too. Yes. Excuse my manners. Hello. Good evening, everyone. Miss Andrea. At Momo D, that is sad. Seems backwards is the direction they want us to go. Yes.
Well, we got to tell Lori on.
Yep. And she noticed that too. What the F is wrong with this anchor? She is effing rude. Yep.
Very much so.
Yep. No, there's no journalism there. There's no interest in what this woman stands for. There's no interest in her issues. And did you notice that in the end, when she was talking about fighting for the people, how she kept just saying, yeah, like she was trying to rush her along.
Oh, I did notice. We did notice that. That's what just left a spike in our backs. And Jamie.
Without a doubt, Barbara, there's a lot we aren't hearing, is my guess. Yes.
Oh, yes. For sure. Anyone else? You could take Jamie down, and anyone else?
Andrea. Casey is very rude. Yes, she was. Yes.
And that is not her character. So did they say you have to go in there and be hard? And if you call that hard, that's just being rude.
That's just being rude. But let's not forget who's in line to own CNN.
Yeah, we must not forget. Anything else before we move on to the next recap?
No, that just really got my goat. This is why the midterms are so important. This is why knowing that you're still registered to vote is important. Check your registration. November is right around the corner, folks. We don't have time, to procrastinate. You have to find out if you're still on the rolls, make a plan to get to the polls or to vote early. And also make a plan to bring some people with you. Maybe some people who are having a hard time and can't get to the polls. Make sure that you're checking on your neighbors and just preparing for November.
So please do so. The next story up is with our friends in Canada. May not be Trump's friends, but it's our friends. So Canada war of words erupted in trade war between the U.S. and Canada. Trump says they should fall in line. Who died and left him boss? Riddle me that, guys. Huh? Who died and left him boss? Because that's ridiculous. But here's a video to really take you through.
It's been simmering for a while, I think. And we had bits and pieces. There was a lot of feuding between Canada and the U.S. last year, even before Trump came back to office, where he was talking about the 51st state and picking fights with Justin Trudeau, who is a former prime minister. But here we are now, a new prime minister, and this is as hot as I think it's ever gotten.
If we just look at some of the points here, Canada has retaliated. It has announced tariffs of up to 50% on hundreds of American goods. And starting in September, Canada will double tariffs on American steel and aluminum. That's really critical, from 25% to 50%. Looking at some of the other items here, they're going to impose tariffs from 15 to 50% on hundreds of other products. So food, plastics, appliances, agriculture equipment, motorcycles. Think about that. That's, quintessentially American. Electronics as well. This all comes in response to those trade talks breaking down and President Trump announcing steep tariffs, 50% tariffs on Canadian goods, including whiskey, dairy products, toys, clothing, hockey sticks, of course, and threats to increase. He's now threatened to increase Canadian car tariffs and trucks up to 50%. Starting January of next year. So all of those numbers tell us this is just ratcheting up, escalating further and further.
Right.
But this is not helping us, people. Talk back to me. What is our viewers saying? Do they get it? He is not about the people.
No.
Because he can't have his way with Canada. Wait a minute. I think Miss Molly said it best. Come on, Miss Molly. What Miss Molly said. Let's highlight Miss Molly.
Like a toddler, he changed the name of a lake because Carney basically told him to kiss his ass.
And can you blame him? Come on, people. Can you blame Canada? Enough is enough.
Yeah.
And all these name changes do not help.
First of all, they're not legal. They're not official. Somebody sits him at that Resolute desk with a Sharpie and a piece of paper that makes him feel all powerful. Like anything that he has signed is legal. None of it is. It's not legal. It's not lawful.
All right. What's the next comment up? Go ahead and take over.
Andrea was saying, if the merger goes through, yes, they will own it if the merger goes through. But it seems like there's a whole lot of anticipating that it will go through, and behaviors are changing. News outlets are changing. And Jamie said Marquette refused to take on the new name. And Jamie, Canada is going to make us all sorry that Trump is a fool. Yeah.
Anything else out there?
Canada is not scared of him. No, they're not. Yep, I agree, Jamie. This is another distraction while they are doing ugly things in plain sight.
Absolutely, Jamie. Absolutely. If you guys haven't done so, please like and subscribe. We need your likes. to continue to move this needle forward. And thank
Yeah.
you so much. And we're just going to please get that ready. Get that ready because we need to clap it up real quickly before we continue. We're going to clap it up because we have 100 subscribers. Woohoo!
Baby steps, baby steps.
Thank
love
you
it.
guys. But
Yeah.
as we transition back over to, let's continue with the madness. You know, Mr. Trump, he always want to mess with our food. And here's another one of the items he's messing with.
In Texas today, hoping to help a Republican Senate candidate while facing criticism for his own plan to lower beef prices by bringing in more beef from overseas. Here's Ed O'Keefe traveling with the president tonight in Houston.
With the cost of living the #1 concern among voters,
Seems like there's been an increase of a few dollars from anything from hamburger meat to New York strip steaks.
President Trump's decision to suspend tariffs on beef imports until after November's elections is designed to drive down the cost of the beef you buy. But it has several top Republicans and the nation's cattle ranchers stewing.
This absolutely doesn't solve the problem.
Jake Parnell is with the Livestock Marketing Association.
It's an affordability crisis. It's not a single protein. So don't pick on us. Talk to the toothpaste producer and the toilet paper producer and the Doritos chip producer, whatever it is.
The plan allows in 300,000 metric tons of imported lean beef trimmings, 25% below current market prices, for the next 90 days.
He is working to fill a gap, a pretty big gap in the supply chain from ground beef.
Republicans from cattle-raising states say the president's decision hurts beef producers and ranchers, many of whom voted for him.
The best way to meet American demand for beef is through more South Dakota beef, not through more Argentinian or Brazilian beef. I would say the system we have in place now is better than what the president is doing. I think he's moving us in the wrong direction.
With a little more than 2 months to go until the midterms, President Trump is here in the Houston area tonight, raising money for State Attorney General Ken Paxton, who's locked in a notably tight race for the U.S. Senate. A recent poll here shows voters, as they are across the country, chiefly concerned, Tony, with inflation and higher prices.
Well,
Talk back to me, people. Let's go, Mo. What do you say before we go into our final topic?
Well, what I say is he gets on there just so impassioned about the struggling Argentinian cattle ranchers. What about the American struggling cattle ranchers? He's always talking about America first, and consistently deals with other nations in areas where he could be preserving our cattle ranching businesses, farmers, but now he's reaching out. And the only reason he's reaching out, the Argentinian beef has been recalled. China wouldn't use it. It's been rejected by other countries, but he wants to make a deal for Argentinian beef. He doesn't care if we get sick, as long as it can make him a little bit of money. Yes, exactly. He doesn't care if we all get sick, as long as he can strike a deal and make some money.
It's all about the cash. It is. And people need to wake up. Stop voting against your interests and vote for your life. Let's hear what Jamie have to say.
He said they use an antibiotic that is lethal and banned in 50 countries. So yeah, that's the meat he wants to feed to the American people.
So he can kill us off, and then he can have all the people that will vote for him. Be careful, people. Watch not what they say, you watch what they're doing.
They do.
Because they are trying to get rid of us. Let's hear. I haven't heard from Jazzy Renee yet, but Barbara, what's Barbara saying?
We tried to tell those MAGA.
Yes, you did.
Yep.
Yes, you did.
Yep.
And Mike?
Cut the cord.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we're going into our next segment, and we would like to say thank you for all those congratulations. We will definitely touch it after we finish, but I was so excited, wanted you guys to know. So, Miss Mo, You know, we was talking about the Gayle Kings and also Legacy Media. Would you like me to play Gayle King first? And then
Could
you
you
can go in
please? Because
and
I
just
got a
and
whole
rip
lot to say.
and rip her up? Okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to egg you on. Go Mo, go Mo, go Mo.
You campaign with Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, Mr. Piker. Do you want to see them on the campaign trail with you as well?
So I have not campaigned with Mr. Piker. Not sure where that information came from. I have campaigned with Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. And so she is someone who wants the same things that I want, to make sure that government is working for people and not against it. And so I'll continue to do the same thing. But I have not campaigned with Mr. Piker at all. Not sure where that came from.
All right, my apologies. I thought that you had. My apologies about that. Would you want him to campaign with you?
I don't really know who Mr. Piker is. I've heard about him. And so
you don't know who he is?
I said, I don't really know who he is personally or anything like that. I am actually focused on Florida and making sure that I'm talking to voters here to uplift their needs and their concerns. And so that's what my focus is going to be over the next 76 days.
You've campaigned with Congresswoman.
Okay. Where should I start? The total incompetence of her research team, whoever her team was that put those questions together and did the research, should be fired. She, as a seasoned journalist, should have known better. And then not only did she ask that question without knowing the facts, then she doubles down on the potential gotcha moment by saying, well, would you want him to campaign for you? First of all, Hasan Piker is an influencer. He's not a political person. He's not somebody that would be out on the campaign trail with another politician. Those are usually other fellow politicians, congressmen, senators, things like that, that will, what's the word I'm looking for? That will campaign with a candidate. This whole thing, it's not news anymore. It's a bunch of gotcha moments. They want to catch you in something. They want to have that viral moment, that viral clip. It's almost as though they're not concerned about parsing information anymore.
So let me give you the word that they're doing. They're no longer doing news, facts, and in-depth understanding. They're doing tabloid news. Aha, aha. It is tabloid news. But hold that thought, because I left up Jazzy Renee, because Jazzy Renee is hitting it on point. And I'm going to bring up her next one. Read her next one.
What the F is the question and obsession with Hasan? That's what I want to know.
I don't know.
Who is this person and why do they keep trying to link him with all the so-called Democratic socialist candidates? They're trying to put a nasty taint on these people. They're shaping the narrative. They're not reporting news anymore. They're shaping it.
So in order for you to pay your mortgage, you're going to sell everybody down the river and forget about your journalistic integrity? I'm not understanding Legacy Media, and we're about to go into it. But let's read what our reactions are. I have one more video for you before that.
Jazzy said they should actually listen to Hasan more. Might learn something. You might be right, Jazzy Renee. Mike said they don't want you growing old. This is true. Because after all, that Social Security is a Ponzi scheme, right? Not like it's your money that you put into the system that is owed to you.
That you took out and put it in your pocket. Like we don't know what's really going on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Lori said, Jazzy Renee, yes, he helped Abdul El Sayed get elected in Michigan. Too late for me, Mike. I'm old, despite them. And I really like El Sayed. Yeah, I do too. I do too.
With that said, let's go into this next video. We're just showing you the patterns. So pick up on it, people. Pick up.
This video and subscribe to Reflect Politics for more.
Sex changes for minors. Do you support that?
Look, you know, I remember having great conversations with my conservative friends about right to try legislation. The idea that the government shouldn't tell you what kind of health care you should have. I just think the government shouldn't tell you what kind of health care you should have. And if you're a minor,
you want to try on kids?
Now, if you disagree with that, if you disagree that healthcare decisions need to be made by a doctor and their parents and a patient, then we think we agree to disagree. But you know, you want to put government inside.
So Abdul, you're a doctor, right?
Selectively. I am.
So you think it's okay for a parent to slash his kid's thing-a-ling off? You think that's okay?
I mean, do you really want to have this conversation? Are you circumcised?
Yeah, but I mean, that's a
Jesse,
personal question.
Okay,
doctor.
So you probably should want to move on.
And circumcision's different than castration.
I think it's a problem that you think that you get to decide what happens between a parent, a doctor, and a patient. And I'm just saying that, yes, circumcision is surgery on a kid's ding-a-ling. So if you really want to bring that up, you can. I just think you guys are really selective about how you want to talk about these things.
Abdul, Michigan's not going for that. That is sick stuff. Boys playing in girls' sports.
I'm not advocating anything. I'm just saying.
So what about that?
So the question, so again, like Jesse, you have not asked me one time about the issues that people actually care about in Michigan. You don't want to talk about gas prices. You don't want to talk about groceries. You don't want to talk about healthcare. You don't want to talk about the stupid trade war that's about to destroy Michigan's economy.
We spent the whole interview talking about that stuff.
That's destroying, that is destroying our own military. You don't seem to want to talk about any of those things. You want to bring up all this culture war that, you know, I'm not here to fight a culture war.
We talked about the war. We talked about gas prices and the Green New Deal, okay? If you want to do an interview,
I'll them up every time.
You can do the interview,
you're
okay?
Asking me, like, you're doing the greatest hits, Jesse. Like, I mean, this is, like, you could play this game if you want, but, like, you can keep doing the greatest hits if you want. You told me we're going to come on for a conversation, and when we have conversations, I think it's okay to also ask questions. I just want to understand what you're getting at here.
I'm getting at whether you think men should play in women's sports.
Senator in Michigan,
it's a big issue.
I'm interested in getting money out of politics, putting money in your pocket, and passing Medicare for all.
You're filibustering,
most people don't care about what sports kids play.
You're filibustering. It's a big issue
because, like, I want
you
to
guys
talk
kind
about
of lost on that issue
you
last time.
Deserve to hear about.
It's only an
all right,
issue
so you
for
want to answer that
your
question?
insane people.
What issue?
You want to answer the question?
What issue? Go ahead, Jesse. What issue?
Should men
Go ahead,
play
ask
women's
it again.
sports? You have daughters, right?
I think that, look, I played sports my whole life. Sports were an important part of my life. I'm grateful for the opportunity to play sports. And at the end of the day, the decision of who gets to play what sports ought to be decided by the people who govern sports. I'm running for U.S. Senate. Jesse, it's insane. I'm out here trying to take on like the healthcare crisis in big pharma, and you're asking me about who gets to play what sports. It's silly. People can't
It's
take you
kind of a
seriously.
big thing if you've been following the news recently, Abdul. Let me ask you about the politics. We'll get to your race. Let's
Jesse,
do your
look,
race right now.
Please be serious. Like I'm here with you. I want to have a conversation about the issues that matter.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about the things that people are actually talking about.
Okay, I am, but let's keep going. Black people in Michigan.
I know you guys are talking about that, but like most of the country's not.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Black people in Michigan voted for this white lady you ran against by like 8 points over you. What happened there?
Jesse Waters doesn't want to talk about his circumcision on national TV, but
Let's move from circumcision and over to the real issue at hand. What do you have to say, Monique?
The only thing that I have to say is that this is very unserious. And for the seriousness of the moment that we're in, legacy media has failed. It has fallen. We can no longer depend on legacy media. They're not reporting the news anymore. It's all a Jerry Springer show.
Tabloid. But let me give a
Yes.
background on what legacy media should be. Legacy media has shifted from being the sole top-down gatekeeper of information to fighting for economic survival and public trust in a decentralized digital ecosystem. So bottom line is they were the gatekeepers. They knew facts. They provided truth. Now they're a tabloid system that want to talk about penises and also kids' genitalias. Like, what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? And we can't even pour right now. We can't get gas. We can't feed our kids. We can't have housing. And you want to talk about this? Talk back to me in our viewers, because I'm heated.
Yeah. Barbara says they take the most.
Sorry.
You took Barbara off. They take the most irrelevant and embellished talking point and run with it these days. And Lori, OMG, trans women in sports. I welcome them since they are not men. They are women. Hormones make a difference, etc. F. Jesse Waters. And here's the other thing that I have to just say about this. I'm a huge, huge WNBA fan, and I hate all the negative attention that the WNBA has been getting. But let's just clear this up for the record. There is no legal pathway for a trans woman to become a professional athlete on any women's sporting team, because there is a ban at the collegiate level. There is a ban at the high school level. So there is no pathway for this. So essentially, this is much to do about nothing. The protests and everything that's been going on is about a situation that doesn't even exist. And so therefore, who is the legacy media working for? Are they working for the machine that is trying to distract us from all the stuff that's going on so that we can't make an informed decision in November? So the solution, people like us, independent media, Don Lemon, Joy Reid, so many others, Jim Acosta. There are so many media outlets right now, independent media outlets that need your support, need your funding, and that is where people should be tuned in, because that is where you're getting all your real information.
So we just want to let you know, new media, that's what we're called. Independent media is now called new media. It refers to the digital and interactive communication, content accessed via the internet and digital devices. They do have social media networks, video on demand, podcasts, blog and vlog. They also have virtual and augmented reality, online news, mobile apps, live streaming, online forums, and interactive digital advertising. That's new media. And new media has been taking us where we need to go and providing us with the information. As Jazzy Renee said, legacy media is turning into the nation's inquirer. Thank you, Jazzy.
Mm-hmm.
You caught what I was saying. Tabloid news. And that's what we don't need. We need facts. We need truth. And I hope when we get rid of this administration, we can move towards the truth again and move towards not trying to sit down and up one person.
Yeah.
Jamie?
Yeah. Jamie says, I can't remember when I watched legacy media. Even in the hotel, I chose cartoons. Yeah, it's just not worth it to tune in anymore. Now, I must say, local news. You can tune into your local news and still get great information.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Lori, I was an athlete growing up in softball, basketball, and bowling. I did not have enough competition. I was told to be not too aggressive as a woman. Yeah.
Yeah. I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
I truly believe them saying that.
Right. They hate us and secretly obsess and admire us. It's kind of creepy. I agree, Jamie. What is the trans population is maybe 1% of the nation's population. So imagine 1% of the nation's population. How many athletes are there really? So all this hoopla, all this legislation, the laws and everything for what, maybe 10, 15 people? The whole
I'm
entire
sorry.
country?
You are right, but I got distracted because, Momo Dio has got to bring it. By the sound of his voice, I understand why he doesn't want to talk about the little snip. Now, everybody in the comment section should be laughing. Go ahead. Go ahead. And you should put a like on that because that is nothing but the truth.
Yep.
Wow. I just, why don't we just summarize this part of legacy media? Did you get everything in that you wanted to say?
I think
Guys?
so. That just really bothered me. And I think maybe because I haven't tuned in really to legacy media, I will still watch MS Now. I really, really like Lawrence O'Donnell. He goes in hard. There's nothing stopping him. He goes in hard. But I do notice that even MS Now, which is the one I turn to if I'm going to turn to any legacy media, even they, and maybe it's because there's just so much going on, can't possibly cover everything that we need to know. And that is why I am constantly searching my independent media sources for all the little stories that don't get any traction in the news. And
we
it's
make
just,
sure
it's
to bring it
unfortunate
here.
because
Mhm.
there are so many people that tune into that stay glued to their Fox News, that stay glued to CNN, that stay glued to all of that. And they're only getting half the story.
They're not really getting the story. You're being kind.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
being kind. But let's hear what Jazzy Renee have to say. I left it up there, but I want to really read that one out.
Alex Jones talks so much shit about trans people, then got caught on his show watching trans porn on his computer. They are definitely obsessed and fixated with the trans community. It's weird. Yeah. Yeah. There's not one professional trans athlete and 10 collegiate athletes. Yes.
That
Yes.
is correct.
Same as when they kept asking about Harris campaign plans, yet never pressed his concepts of a plan. Yet she gave us hers and his. She gave us her plan, his plan, and Project 2025. And what did we do?
We didn't vote for her. I voted for her. They didn't
I voted
vote for
her. I voted for her. And I'm telling you, I blame everyone who voted for him, but I blame even more so everyone who decided to stay home.
Absolutely. You got to call a spade a spade.
You gotta. We wouldn't be in this mess if those people had gotten off their asses and voted.
No, I totally agree. I am loving the interaction with our viewers. You guys always bring it on a Friday night. You can be anywhere else but here, and you chose to sit down with us. We really, really appreciate you stopping by and showing some love and giving us your opinion. We talk about legacy media because that's what's getting in our goat. It gets our goat on how do you go from being fact-based, telling the truth, to tabloid, to jumping on the bandwagon of nonsense.
Right.
I can't wrap my head around. But you guys don't be bamboozled and don't get hoodwinked. Stay focused. Understand that this is only for a time. Get yourselves off the couch. Get your registration done and vote. Trust me, they're trying to deter you. So then that means we can win. Because if they knew they had it in the bag, they would not be saying a word. They'll be sitting down quietly cheating. And don't think that they're not doing that. Absolutely. But we need you guys to focus. Like Miss Andrea always say, hey, one person can make a difference. Like Miss Anitra would say, get out there and vote because we need to rock the vote. And Miss Mo, what do you say? Not 1, not 10, but she wants 20 people to rock with you.
That's right. That's right. Get your people to the polls. Get your people to the polls. We have to vote. We have to vote to start to right this madness. We have to vote.
Absolutely.
And then once we vote, then we have to start pressing on the Democratic leadership to fight for the people.
Correct. That is correct.
Yeah,
Let's
Barbara.
close out. Miss Barbara says.
Right, Ms. August. They used to fact check everything. Now all they do is dodge the real stories and lie about the ones they do report. I may be aging myself here, but I hearken back to the days of World News Tonight with Dan Rather, Walter Cronkite. Those people told you the truth. Even when it was an uncomfortable truth, they told you the truth. Because that's what journalism is supposed to be about. They're supposed to be the fourth estate. All of our estates are crumbling. Congress, Supreme Court, and now the news media.
I have to rock this one once again. I'm sorry. Dems need to listen to their base, not themselves.
Yes.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Finish, Miss Mo.
Yeah, I was going to say, the politicians have to start listening to the people. The people are screaming. They're telling you what they want. Look at the candidates that they are voting for. And yet what you take this entire organization, this entire media machine to break those people down, even though you know that's what the people want.
And if they would have stood together, they could have conquered it. But nobody wanted to have anyone else back. That's crazy.
Barbara, Dan Rather, Connie Chung, Peter Jennings. Yes, all those people. Dan Rather. Do you remember that? Do you remember?
Yeah, absolutely.
World News Tonight. Yes. 60 Minutes. That's where you would go for your in-depth coverage of certain news stories. No more.
That's right. I'm so glad you guys were able to do the roll call from back in the 90s and 2000s. Absolutely. These people, they stood on principle. They had to be about facts and truth. But with that said, we're coming to the end of our Friday recap, but we always leave you with something positive to look forward to. Miss Mo, you want to take this?
2 choices, 2 very different lives, carrying everyone's expectations. Look at how burdened she is. And
be perfect.
Don't
disappoint.
Living your own life. Look at her. Look at her strolling through the flowers. And I'm telling you, as you get older, you recognize how important it is to live your own life. Because a lot of times you go through your younger years burdened by everyone else's expectations. But if you could just fluff that off your shoulders, you'll live a lighter, much happier life.
Thank you for stopping by on this Friday evening on the Friday recap. Now you know exactly what we've been talking about. Thank you, Miss M, and we look forward to us. Don't forget, it is Saturday Sip. We will be on the rooftop. So come on and stop by and see what we have. We're doing our movie review. So Jamie, you better show up on time this time.
I was going to say, Jamie, we're finally going to do it. We're going to review the movie.
Okay, so we need you. We really do. So make sure you show up. And also, it's 2 movies. I Will Find You and K-Pop Demon Hunters are the review. We got a surprise for you tomorrow, hopefully, but we're still negotiating. But please stop by and see. We're on the rooftop at 3. And with that said, you have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow, Saturday Sip.
Thank you, guys.
Hit the like and subscribe.